Nitish Kumar's game and playing Nitish, Congress, RJD must give him the space he needs. After becoming Chief Minister of Bihar in 2015, Nitish Kumar of the Janata Dal United has been sending mixed signals to his alliance partners, Lalu Yadav-led Rashtriya Janata Dal (RJD) and the Congress. His statement that the onus is on the Congress to come up with a coherent agenda of its own, instead of merely reacting to the BJP, cannot be faulted. However, for the Congress and the RJD, it does not make political sense to push Kumar out of the alliance and into the waiting arms of the BJP. The RJD must dump any ambition to install a chief minister from the party halfway through the assembly's term and rein in elements that can disrupt the present government's core USP, good governance. In Bihar's 243-member assembly, the RJD has 80 seats, the JDU 71 and the Congress 27, a solid majority. If Kumar breaks this Mahagathbandhan and ties up with the BJP, which has 53 members, he can still form a government and remain a chief minister. This is the ace that the master pragmatist holds in his sleeve. As part of the opposition, and a rather chaotic one, Kumar can be the big fish in the smaller, yet choppy, pond. If he returns to the NDA camp, he firms up a pipeline with the center, the original gateway chosen by him to come to power in 2005. The Congress and the RJD must give him the space he needs to remain with the opposition. The BJP-led NDA, on its part, will be only too happy to welcome him back in the fold, whose mantra of good governance is in line with Kumar's actions. Kumar's support for the BJP is presidential choice, his teaming up with Hardik Patel in Gujarat, putting up own candidates in Delhi's municipal and up assembly elections are signals of autonomy. His partners, present and future, should register this and do what is good for them. Regulatory deficit shouldn't wholesale, don't penalize real estate for missing RERA. The center has debarred real estate developers from marketing ongoing projects that are yet to be registered with the Real Estate Regulatory Authority (RERA) in the respective state, as per the Real Estate Act 2016. The Union Housing Ministry needs to get real and reconsider. Most states have either not set up regulatory bodies under the newly notified act or are not ready with the attendant rules. The center needs to opt for a measure of flexibility on the issue and allow marketing of real estate projects provided there's full disclosure and with the added provision that they are to be registered as soon as the state regulatory infrastructure is in place and functional. Construction is a key driver of economic activity in general. Real estate and construction have not been doing too well and were hit by demonetization. Yet, the outlook is bright, according to a recent study by Magic Bricks, a sister concern of this newspaper, and KPMG, with potential buyers growing in numbers. Only when real estate developers can offload existing inventory can they start new projects and add their bit to reviving economic growth. Real estate sales should not stall because state governments have failed to put their regulatory structures in place. That would be not merely unkind but also unjust and counterproductive from the point of view of giving a boost to economic growth. True, Section 3(1) of the Act does prohibit advertisement for projects, ongoing or future ones, without registration with the concerned RERA. When the Act was operationalized on May 1st, a 3-month period was deemed sufficient for the purpose. The center must urge all states to comply within the stipulated period. Reports say that of the 35 state and union territories, 24 are yet to establish regulatory bodies as mandated by the law, and 16 are yet to notify the rules. The Act requires that all projects be registered online, but the reality is that 32 states and UTs have yet to develop websites for the purpose. And in such a scenario, simply going by the letter of the law may not be the best course of action.